Is Rassie van der Dussen's spot nailed on? Now, I'm not talking about his spot in the side, although there has been, surprisingly, as Arshid said in the comment section, surprisingly some people that have been questioning his position in the team. Now, me personally, I believe that Rassie is one of the key factors and the key players in the Proteas setup. He's been one of the most consistent performers and averages the best out of anybody else within this particular team. So I'm very excited about the prospect of Rassie van der Dussen becoming the mainstay in this T20 lineup. But is his position in the lineup confirmed and nailed on? That's what I wanted to discuss today, because there are so many guys that have been swapped around throughout this 3-2 series victory against the West Indies. We saw Temba bat in the opening position and at 3. We saw Aiden Markram come in at 3 and 4. We've had David Miller move up to 4 and play at 6 and 5. So everybody's shuffling around. The big question is what's going to happen when Faf du Plessis does return, if he does return? Where does Rassie fit in at that point? Who gets dropped for that? Because we have to actually consider the fact and understand that Temba Bavuma is not going to get dropped if he's the captain. There's no question that his position in the squad is going to be nailed down because he's captain. So for us to try and predict what the Boucher is going to do, I think that's the one thing that we know for certain, is that he won't drop. Boucher has selected Temba Bavuma as his captain. So there's no way I think that he will drop Temba Bavuma. So we have to work around it. But I thought, let's talk about Rassie today, because I feel that they're moving him around a lot and he needs to have a nailed-on spot where he can feel comfortable. We're going to be talking about that on the show today, of course, myself and Aditya. And I would like to hear Aditya's insight into this. What I want you guys to do is subscribe if you're new. Click that notification bell for all future videos. So let's get straight into the video. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohidin. This is Aticha. And this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. Now, as you can see, we've spoken about Rassie van der Dussen today. We're going to be speaking about him today and what his position is in the lineup. Where should he bat? What should they do with him? Are South Africa going to take an approach where they just move guys around according to match situation? That's what I think they will do, because that's how I think they've been going about their business currently. But it would give us as a fan base a lot more belief in them if they had nailed on positions for at least the top 3, and we know exactly who those top 3 are. Aditya, let's get into it. What is your thoughts on Rassie van der Dussen? Because, I mean, I have a graphic over here to show you. These are the guys that are probably some of the best averages that you can see over here amongst these 3. And I think all 3 of them are competing for that role of being the versatile player in the top order. Faf can open, Aiden can open, Rassie could open too. I mean, he's done it in domestic cricket. That's how he made a name for himself. Then you have them, all 3 of them can also bat 4 and 3 as well. So looking at these guys, the dilemma's going to come if the middle guy over here, Faf du Plessis, comes back. Who falls out for him? Because, I mean, I don't think Boucher and them will drop Temba Bavuma now that he's our captain.
Yeah. It's the million-dollar question. But since we're focusing on Rassie in this show, Rassie's been one of South Africa's most consistent players for the last 2 years. There is no question about it.
No question.
He has to play. He has to be there in the team. But given what we've seen in this last series and seeing that Boucher expects similar conditions or probably worse conditions in the UAE, that decision needs to be a bit more strategic. What we've seen through the course of this series in that South Africa posted 160 odd consistently, and there was that feeling that every single time that they were 15 to 20 runs short. Where did they go wrong is where they need to reflect, because if we look at the death overs, how often did we have a set batsman coming in the 14th or 15th over, or how often did we have set batsmen getting out in the 17th over? It was pretty often. And the fact of the matter is that Rassie van der Dussen is not the sort of player who's going to smack it from ball one. He can do that in South Africa, but it's very hard. It's very hard to do that in the West Indies or even in the UAE, where starting an innings is going to be incredibly difficult. Therefore, it's important for South Africa that they have Rassie coming in around the 9th or 10th over, batting at number 4, so that he is set by the time the 15th over comes about and he's ready to launch. Because if they have a new batsman coming in the 15th or the 16th over, they're not going to be able to make progress, and certainly not in the UAE. We just need to look at the first game of IPL 2020 between Chennai and Mumbai, and you look at what Faf du Plessis did. He batted from the first over to the 20th over, and he scored 58 runs of like 40 odd deliveries. Not a massive strike rate, but that innings, it ensured that Chennai would win. That is the sort of approach that South Africa need to employ, and Rassie van der Dussen at number 4 is the perfect man to play that role.
And I mean, having a guy like that, imagine if someone is batting through the innings at least till the 17th over and they have a partner on the other end that can be a little bit more destructive or can be a little bit more accelerating, like a Quinton de Kock, for example. Imagine having the combination of that and both of them batting till deep. I mean, Aiden and Quinton showed what you can do if you have a good partnership like that and you run between the wickets hard and you play smart cricket and you play normal cricketing shots, not having to go big. They showed what they can do, and unfortunately, there was nobody over there in the middle order that could take the tally to a massive total like we were all hoping for. A lot of people after that start thought that South Africa would get close to 180, and unfortunately, that didn't take place because there was no one to kick on. But I think that the uncertainty by moving guys around so much in the middle order is going to make it tough for you to perform mentally, is it not?
Look, I think what they've done with Rassie is that they've messed with something that isn't broken. Rassie at number 4 had done well, and look at this series where he got that 56, which is responsible for South Africa getting to a respectable total of 160 odd. That they got hammered by the West Indies later on can be attributed to the fact that batting got easier in that game because of the rain and the pitch hardened and all of that. But he played exactly the sort of innings that you needed on that wicket. And then you've changed your informed batsman and shifted him to number 5. That, look, I understand Boucher and Bavuma trying to give people opportunities in different positions and see how it works out. But I don't think you need to do that when you're sure of a particular batsman's position. If Quinton de Kock is comfortable as an opener, there's no point for the sake of experimentation to play him at 3. You don't need to do that. Similarly, there was no real need to have Rassie batting at 5.
Yeah, so Abai, thank you a lot for the super chat. He said it's 5 is too low a position and it's unfair on his ability. Tech7 saying Khalid Rassie is the 6th ranked batsman in the T20 rankings. He was an average of 18 ODIs. How could someone even think of dropping him in? That's our point exactly. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, we're not going to be talking about or we're not going to even be accommodating that of thinking about dropping him, because I don't believe that he should be. I mean, I was already talking about it. I said, what's going to happen to Rassie if AB comes back? And it's unfair on AB. I mean, fair on Rassie if they drop Rassie for AB, or Rassie's always the one to be thought about to be dropped. I don't believe that should be the case. Now, on the wickets in Abu Dhabi and Dubai and etc., On the slower wickets in general, it's a lot harder to clear the boundaries. Those big hitters are going to struggle on wickets where the ball sits into the pitch because your timing has to be impeccable. If you're off form slightly, it's not like in South Africa where you can be a little bit off form and hit the ball and it flies to the boundary. You have to have your timing spot on. That's why your running between the wickets has to be good. Your stroke play has to be so good. You need to play with a straight bat. Make sure that you find the gaps. Those are all very important, and it's important that South Africa has someone that they can trust and they can rely on consistently. And that is Rassie van der Dussen for me. He's the Mr. Consistency. He's the guy that you can count on time and time again when the rest are not performing or when you need someone to stick in until the end. I mean, I would even consider if South Africa's in a spot of bother to bring him in at 3 when South Africa are in a spot of bother. I see him as being able to do that. I mean, if they lose a wicket after the power play, Rassie's the perfect person to bring in. If they lose a wicket in the power play, Aiden's the best person to bring in because he can exploit the power play completely. So we've got a nice balance with certain players. We just have to find the complete 6, 7 guys that we know 100% we can trust and we can rely on. Aditya, final words from you, please.
You know, if you really want to see the template of how an individual should play in the UAE, look at Virat Kohli's knock in IPL 2020 against the Chennai Super Kings, where RCB were in a spot of bother, and there was not a lot of batting after Virat Kohli, and so he just knocked it around, ran really hard. You know, he converted ones into twos, and his partners were all out of breath. But then, come the 15th over, he just decided to launch, and he ended up with 90 not out of 50 odd balls. That is the template. By running hard between the wickets, he sort of got his eye in. He played risk-free cricket, but he made sure that the team was going at a healthy run rate. That is exactly what South Africa's top order needs to do. They need to be adaptable. It's in the UAE, it's going to be very difficult to hit the ball out of the ground from ball 1. Very difficult. And what I'd like to see from South Africa is that they should be able to adapt their game on the ground. And if they're not able to clear the boundaries, run hard. And I wonder if this time Rassie will get his stint with the Rajasthan Royals. Because if that happens and you have Faf du Plessis, Quinton de Kock, Rassie van der Dussen playing in the UAE before the World Cup starts, it'd be hugely beneficial for South Africa.
I know a lot of people are calling for Janneman Malan, and it's a guy that I wished got an opportunity in this particular series, definitely, because he's a hard hitter of the ball, very good driver of the ball, puller of the ball. So he's very good against seamers. There is a concern, however, against spin with Janneman that he needs to sort out, and he has been working on it, but we don't know how good he is against spin until we see him play. So I hope that in Ireland they play him and give him an opportunity so that we can see what he has to offer, because I mean, if he can hit the ground running and really be an asset to South African cricket, we can get that power play can be a deadly period against any opposition. But guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos as well. Don't forget to download the latest issue of the magazine. Link is on the screen and in the description. It's 100% free, guys. You have to go to the link, subscribe, you'll get it straight into your inbox every single month. All the back issues as well are 100% free, so please support us in that manner. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow with another daily show. Take care and enjoy your evening.